Welcome back, everyone. We're going to do something new here at the Traveling Dad, and we're going to start a weekly update. Cedar Point and the Cedar Fair parks. This week we're going to do Cedar Point. There's been a lot of updates that has come out in the last 2 weeks, and we're going to get all that information to you now. Just want to give you guys a quick reminder, if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification, so when I update any new videos, you guys are notified and we can keep you informed. Thanks. Cedar Point announced that they will be opening May 14th this year. They also went live online April 26th for their online reservations, which you are now required to make a reservation before you enter the park. And we will be going over all of the rules and stipulations on that, and guests at the hotel, guests at Sports Force Park, all of that stuff later on in the video, so stay tuned. So the first thing I want to go over with you guys is the Frontier Festival, which runs May 14th through June 13th. It's going to be a sunflower-themed event back in Frontier Town. There'll be a lot of food booths, beer stands. I believe there will be beverages for the kids, but I'm not sure. I don't really know 100% sure on that. But what they did in previous years when they had things like this was you would buy a amount of tickets for so many dollars, $20, $25 for 20 tickets or whatever it is. And so many, drink would cost you so many tickets. Each food dish that you wanted would cost you so many tickets, and so forth. There's going to be a lot of music and live bands going on. I believe they're going to have lasso roping for the kids and teaching you how to do that kind of stuff. There's pie eating contests, things like that from back in the old Frontier days. Next thing I want to go over is the 150th anniversary celebration this year. It was postponed last year due to COVID. So this year is technically 151 years, but we're celebrating 150th because we didn't get to last year. The celebration runs from June 26th to August 15th. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of crazy things going on, shows, parades. I think they're going to gather at the area next to Iron Dragon, where they usually have their shows on the midway there. I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun. And next up on the list of events for this year is the Cedar Point Nights, which runs August 6th through September 5th. There's going to be live shows on the beach, DJs. I think they did a light show or like glow sticks. They hand out glow sticks to the kids and those types of things out there in previous years. There's going to be fire pits, lounge chairs, and larger-than-life games. So I'm guessing like Connect 4, checkers, chess, like very large things out on the beach with blankets or those types of things, platforms so that you can play those games out there. I know it was a lot of fun in previous years. It usually runs until I think like midnight or 10. Back then, I'm not sure what the Corona hours are going to be this year, the COVID hours. So I don't think it's going to go as long, but I'm sure it's going to be just as much fun. They may even start it a little earlier so that you can enjoy it longer. But that does take place out on Cedar Point Beach, and it runs from August 6th to September 5th, towards the back end of the summer. And it's definitely a good time. I would recommend checking it out. I've been there a few times, and we will make some videos of that this year as well. We'll get in there and bring that to you guys so you can see what it's all about. And now down to the nitty gritty. This is the good stuff, guys. This is what you want to know. Cedar Point, the reopening protocols for this year are different from last year. So this year reservations are required to get into Cedar Point and Cedar Point Shores, Cedar Point Shores. Last year, I believe they required reservations for the first part of the season after they opened, and then they did away with them. Hopefully that's what they do this year. I don't know. But for right now, you have to make reservations. And currently, you can only have 3 reservations for Cedar Point at any time and 1 reservation for Cedar Point Shores. So what that means is if you book up to 3 reservations ahead of time for Cedar Point, as you use one, you can book 1 more. Cedar Point Shores, you can only have 1. So once you use it, then you can book another reservation. But both are opening to limited capacity this year. So that's going to cut down on the amount of reservations that will be available, obviously. Hopefully, as the season goes on, if they open it up more or they do away with the reservations, and we can come and go as we please like we used to 2 years ago. But for now, that's a change in the procedure from last year. Temperature checks for guests have been discontinued. We're not doing that anymore this year. The health screening questionnaire will be conducted by associates at all entrances. So they're going to ask you if you've had any exposure to COVID, if you're feeling sick, any of that kind of stuff. But again, no temperature checks, which is nice. Reservations are required for season pass holders and for single day ticket holders, just so you guys know. So everyone has to make a reservation no matter what you have. I believe if you're staying in the hotel, you don't have to make reservations. You're automatically included in that. But a regular ticket holder and a season pass holder, you have to make reservations. Pass holders who book to stay at Hotel Breakers, Lighthouse Point, or Express Hotel will receive guaranteed entry to Cedar Point during the dates of their stay and do not need to make a reservation in advance. Again, that's for pass holders who book to stay at any of the hotels or the campgrounds. You do not need to make a reservation. You're guaranteed entry into Cedar Point. Now, Cedar Point Shores is a different story. Every single time you want to go there, you need to make a reservation, regardless of whether you're staying on property or not. And when you make your reservations, you're allowed to make reservations for up to 14 people at one time. So if your party's 14 or less, you're good. You only need to make one reservation for the 14 people. But if your party exceeds 14, then you're going to have to make multiple reservations depending on the amount of people that you have coming to the park with you that day. Now, if you're a single ticket day holder and you don't have your tickets yet, when you go online to purchase your tickets from Cedar Point from Cedar Point, your reservation is included with your purchase online. I believe they're going to have you schedule your day when you purchase the tickets, so that way your reservation's good, but don't hold me to that. I'm not 100% sure, as I'm a season pass holder, so I have not gone on yet and checked out the single ticket reservation system, but I believe that's how that works. Now, Cedar Point and Cedar Point Shores will be opening with limited capacity. There is a thing on here on their website which is really confusing because I don't understand why they would do this, but it says if you purchase your ticket prior to April 26, 2021, you won't need a reservation to get into the park. But if they're requiring reservations, I don't understand how an older ticket wouldn't be required to make a reservation to get in when new tickets have them tied to them. So this may be a typo on their website. I'm not sure. I would call ahead and double check before you get there so that you don't show up or make plans to come all the way in from out of state and find out that you can't get in. You do have to make reservations. So again, I'm not for sure. I'm just reading what their paperwork says from their website. And it says that if it was previous to April 26th of this year, you don't need to make a reservation if it's a single day ticket. I don't know. Their website also states that if you have a 2-day ticket, if you've previously purchased a 2-day ticket, you must make a reservation to visit one or both parks for each day. Before arriving at the parks through our online reservation portal or the store tab on the Cedar Point mobile app, you will need to make separate reservations for each park, even if you plan to visit both parks on the same day. So take that for what it's worth. Their website also states that the reservation will be attached to your ticket and you will only need to present it to be scanned for entry. Please note that each single day ticket guest must have a valid admission ticket to enter the park in addition to the reservation. The parking is not included in your ticket, so if you need to purchase that separately, you also do that through their website. Unless you're a season pass holder, then the parking is free. Now this is for the guests staying at Cedar Point Resorts property, Hotel Breakers, Lighthouse Point, or the Express Hotel. Guests receive guaranteed entry to Cedar Point for their entire stay. No advance reservation is required. If you have a season pass, you must bring your passes to the front desk to be validated to enter the park. If you have a hotel package or are purchasing tickets at the front desk, they will automatically be valid during your dates of stay up to the number of days indicated on each ticket. Now, as for entry into Cedar Point Shores, if you're staying at any of the Cedar Point resorts, your entry into Cedar Point Shores Water Park is not guaranteed for overnight guests at Hotel Breakers, Lighthouse Point, or the Express Hotel. Guests must make a separate reservation prior to visiting Cedar Point Shores, which is subject to availability. Cedar Point Shores admission is required to make a reservation. So you have to have the ticket for Cedar Point Shores or a season pass before you make a reservation, or they won't allow you to do it. Now, I'm telling you this because Cedar Point Shores, I'm sure this year is going to be slam-packed to capacity, whatever the amount is that they're allowing. 40%, 50%, I don't know, but it is limited, And I'm sure that it will be sold out for most of the season since everybody is ready to get outside. I would make my reservations as early as possible for Cedar Point Shores so that you can get in. I wouldn't wait to the last minute because I highly doubt there will be availability. As for guests playing at a sports tournament at Sports Force Park, if you're a player playing at Sports Force Parks or Cedar Point's Sports Center, a reservation to Cedar Point and or Cedar Point Shores is already included in your All-Star Player Pass. You will not need to make a reservation to enter the parks if you purchased an All-Star Friends and Family 5-day pass. No reservation is needed to either park. If your plans change, you need to cancel or change the date of your reservation, simply access the booking portal and enter your order ID and email address to make any changes. So if you're playing in the tournament at Sports Force and you have the 5-day pass, it looks like the All-Star Player Pass, you will not need to make a reservation to enter the parks, and that's Cedar Point Shores included. And if you have an All-Star Friends and Family 5-day pass, no reservation is needed for either park as well. So it looks like that's the only way you can get into Cedar Point Shores and Cedar Point without a reservation for either one is if you're a guest playing at the sports tournament over at Sports Force. Now, they have a list here of what to pack before you arrive. Your season pass, mobile or printed tickets, face covering for each guest aged 10 years and older. So under 10, you don't have to wear a face mask in the park. That's awesome. Over 10, you have to wear a mask unless you're actively sitting down or eating. Or if you can maintain 6 feet of social distancing, you don't need a mask while you're in the park. So if it's a slow day, you can take your mask off, walk around the park, you're fine. But as soon as you get in line for a ride, you need to put your mask back on because the queue rails zigzag next to each other and you can't maintain 6 feet of social distancing. Now, there is a mask type that they do not allow you to bring into the park. It is the one with the vents on the side. As you can see, this one has them. It usually has a removable liner on the inside also as well, and these things are removable. What happens is when you exhale, the flaps open and it allows the virus particles, according to Cedar Point's webpage, to exit out the sides. So these are outlawed. You will not be allowed into the park if you have this type of mask. Gaiters, regular masks, nylon masks, cloth masks, all that kind of stuff, those are all fine. Again, the ones with the vents, they will not allow you to get in and you will be turned away at the gate. Contactless payment method other than cash, such as credit card, Apple Pay, and Google Pay. This is, I believe most of the park is going to be, or all of it's going to be cashless according to what I'm reading here to cut down on exposure. So make sure you bring credit cards, Apple Pay, or Google Pay. So there's some new rules and regulations for when you arrive to the park. Our opening plan calls for new arrival processes. And at the Cedar Point parking toll booth, we will ask you for proof of parking payment. If you do not have a parking voucher, you may pay with a cashless payment, such as credit card, Apple Pay, or Google Pay. As you approach park entrance gates, you will be asked to confirm that no one in your party has been exposed or experienced any symptoms of COVID-19 within the past 10 days. If your group does not pass the health assessment, we will ask you to reschedule your visit to a later date. At our touchless turnstiles, scan your season pass or single-day ticket inside the mobile app and let the fun begin. So far, that's the news that we've gotten from Cedar Point on the social distancing and reopening plan. The events that are happening, the Frontier Party, the 150th anniversary party, and then the beach party towards the end of the summer. Hopefully, they relax some of the rules and guidelines and it gets a lot better before the end of the season. So park officials did announce earlier this year that they are planning on Halloween weekends returning at the end of 2021 and the usual fall festivals and things like that from previous years. So I'm looking forward to that. That's my favorite part of the year is the Halloween weekend events, Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights over at Cedar Point. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully everything opens back up and we get back to normal by the end of the season. And that's all I've got for you guys today. Look for me next week and we'll have some more updates for Cedar Point. Until next time.